up in order to investigate these things. There are even the question of, in terms of cap and trade, that there is also monitoring systems now that are supposed to be installed in various industries and things like this, where a lot of people are going to make huge amounts of money. They're going to be what do they call it, the Microsoft, but of the cap and trade kind of world, if you know what I mean. Meaning these operating systems that are monitoring how much carbon you're putting out at your factory or whatever it is that you have. So again, we have this idea that there's just a new kind of economy coming in from somewhere, and so many people are jumping on the bandwagon that it seems to be difficult to just stop it. You know what I mean, James?
Absolutely. I mean, because we have that in our own company. We would have to measure, even though we are a renewable company. You might have an engineer, who's using his car to go between your different generation assets, and that's got to be included in the budget and in your cap and trade scheme. That counts as a quote, part of your quota. So you have to say, well, that engineer spent 3 hours in his vehicle today. You have to write that down. You have to log it. You have to check. You have maybe a company petrol pump or something like that, and you have to measure the amount of easy enough measured how much you've used, but then you have to say, well, that turns into so many gigatons or just tons of carbon dioxide. So this is a huge layer of bureaucracy, and bureaucracy can mean money and jobs, as you say. And at the end of the day, you're saying, well, it's bureaucracy, so it's not a good thing. You're actually stagnating. You're actually slowing industry down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But yes, there is money involved, and there's so-called new jobs being created, but there's a lot more jobs being lost because of it.
Well, exactly. I mean, just look at the car industry. All of this, and goes hand in hand with obviously the economic situation now as well. But I also see that is a reflection of the whole climate change debate as well, because it's almost like people frown on production now, and we're not supposed to have cars, but at the same time, yet at least, we don't see the emergence of new developing companies that are actually doing something good and productive when it comes to battery-driven cars and stuff like this. Apparently, France, for instance, has developed a car that goes on air, even as taxi companies have begun to buy this, for instance. I mean, there's a lot of good ideas out there, but at the same time, it doesn't seem that industry has yet boomed. Do you think that will happen then? Do you think that will be the next step of this, and we're just kind of in the middle of the phase right now where everything seems to be chaotic and whatnot? Okay, though, we have to go back to this general idea again and mention that it's all based on a lie, on a fraud. So the question is, how long will those kind of industries actually maintain and stay healthy, because it's based on a very insecure foundation, if you know what I mean, James?
Yeah, it's a very big deal. I mean, and as we hinted at earlier, I mean, I wouldn't want the bubble to explode. There's a lot of companies, and companies exploit opportunities, and generally companies are quite honest about it. We're exploiting an opportunity. We don't know whether there is CO2-based global warming or not, but we will design the next version of the Prius or whatever because people want to buy it,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money invested into green technologies, and you can say, well, there's benefits. We have better wind power, which we do have better wind power now. The turbines are more efficient, and the solar panels are getting better. And the hybrid car concept was definitely promoted through the fact that there was a business opportunity. So you say, oh, well, it's all great, but the amount of money being thrown at this is highly, highly inefficient. And whenever you're creating it's a false economy. And so just to say that, well, we have a Prius car because of, the global warming, well, but how many billions has been put in and invested into this to get there? Well, you could have spent a lot less than that if you actually just wanted to design a hybrid car for your own sake, Those sort of drivers are not the way to go. I mean, we're talking about basic economics, the arguments of whether, regulated versus deregulated. You've created a regulated car. It's the industry has said, look, you have to have that car. Well, in a way it's been regulated because it's a false economy. It's a false profit situation because it shouldn't be there.
It's weird to me. I'm reading a little bit about General Motors, for instance. They have a car they call the EV1. There's other companies, I think, as well, who had very efficient battery-driven cars that many of these were taken off market around 2000 or something like that, meaning that there was technology in place, but then for whatever reason they were recalled and they haven't continued the production of them, which makes me look twice at this stuff, and like, I wonder why that is then. Why haven't they followed through on this and actually developed a lot of this technology? I don't know if you have any answers or not on that, James, but just a curiosity, a side note to this whole discussion, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know the business model which, the General Motors and getting these electric cars out is based on. I mean, so I don't work for those guys, but I do know General Motors is, it's a highly political company, and they really are trying to go for the green angle, and they are promoting it largely. So if they produced, I imagine, a car which is some sort of hybrid or battery-driven car, fully battery-driven car, and it's taking it off the market, then I don't think they'll be happy about that. There is some economic reason why it's just not viable, because as far as they were concerned, especially in 2000, the world was really pro this whole global warming thing. So the market seemed like it was going to boom. So, I don't know why they removed their car then.
See, very, very interesting. But how do you, if we begin to round things up a little bit here for this time, Jens, how do you think the world will look back on this issue, let's say, I don't know, 50 or maybe even 100 years from now? I'm asking for your prophetic hat to be put on here, I guess. But at the same time, it has been mentioned before that it's a mass delusion, pretty much, that we see is unfolding right now, and the future human being might look back to this era as the dark ages when it comes to intelligence, if nothing else, and just wonder and question what the heck were they thinking? Didn't they realize the basic simplicity when it comes to the scientific models, etc., etc.? What do you think, James? Will we come out of this and realize what really is going on here, or will the propaganda work and we will just carry on into this direction? Where do you see things going?
Well, I mean, of course, good question. Big question. Well, I'm an optimist, so I think we're going to come out of this well. As I've already mentioned, Jonathan Swift said in this 1726 or sometime when he wrote the book, this sort of thing is this sort of bubble and this sort of investing into craziness and everyone believing in it and not really, the emperor's clothing sort of concept has gone on forever. In 100 years' time, looking back, in 100 years' time, we could say, oh, well, that's just another little bit of history repeating. We just fell into that bubble, the Y2K bubble, whatever. The alternative is, in 100 years' time, mankind will be more developed. Africa and India will be better off. You see places like, Thailand and Malaysia and Indonesia, they've come on leaps and bounds, So other countries that are perhaps further behind in this scale, hopefully will sort themselves out. Zimbabwe, we would love to really sort itself out if we can, and hopefully the world will be a better place. And we might say, well, actually, we agree that, the CO2 thing was slightly spurious, but what it led us to is this awesome world government. We could actually say, that, okay, we agree that it was spurious. And this is what some of the reasons why this whole thing has been pushed. And I will also mention the world government as a final thought, I guess, is that I try not to be too cynical. But at the end of the day, the way I see it is Maggie Thatcher started the whole thing as a genuine energy concern. She couldn't have coal, she couldn't trust her coal unions, and oil had just quadrupled by OPEC. She needed nuclear, so she started it. And it's now been, who are the main people that I can see carrying on? It's the European Union, people like Prime Minister Gordon Brown especially, President Barack Obama and Kevin Rudd. They're all on the left side of politics. And, why are they must have advisors telling them. They must have advisors saying, look, there's actually quite a lot of people out there who are quite validly saying that it's probably not true. Why are we going to put this tax in? And you know what? Taxes usually don't mean votes. So they really must have a reason. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you actually just going through the logic, the thought experiment, they must have a reason, because putting in a tax is not votes. And politicians are very sensitive to keeping votes.
Yes.
So what is their reason? What is their raison d'etre? What is it behind it? Well, that comes to the concept that, and there are many people out there who believe in it, that maybe there should be a world government. And at the moment, I don't think we can do that, because our societies are too imbalanced. You can't say that there's one rule of law for someone like Belgium the same as it would be for Kenya. It just wouldn't work. But maybe in 100 years' time, we would have got to that stage, and we'll say, well, that was this cap-and-trade scheme is a form of taxation which is allowing an intergovernmental, international body, whether it be the UN or, based on the EU sort of format, a UN to have its own taxation, and therefore its own control. And so maybe this was a good thing. It was a progenitor of a great concept. But I don't know. I mean, I'm a bit more cynical, but that's one other way to look at it.
Well, absolutely. It is all about who is in control finally. If